continuing on the topic of menopause, we are going to go through a few other symptoms and how to manage them. So poor memory and poor concentration is a common complaint of women that are postmenopausal, and that is probably because of the downfall of estrogen, but also because of all the stress. So managing stress is a big thing. We already talked about that. We're not going to talk about that anymore, but we do want to stimulate brain-derived neurotrophic factor. That's a fancy name for fertilizer for your brain. It makes your neurons nice and strong. It's a substance that is released mainly through diet, exercise, and fasting. So these three things are the things that stimulate BDNF release. So diet, especially optimizing your zinc levels. And how do you do that? Well, first you measure it in your blood and see how much it is, and then you either eat more zinc containing foods, and you can throw that on Google and find out, but it's the meats and the nuts, especially walnuts are excellent for your brain. Or supplement with a zinc supplement so that your levels can come back up. And then obviously have all the nutrients that, a good diet. Then exercise, any kind of exercise stimulates BDNF. The other thing that stimulates BDNF is fasting. So sometimes you can do a 24-hour fast, or you can do an intermittent fasting of 16 or 18 hours. But definitely keep that window between the last dinner and the breakfast. So the last thing you eat at night and the first thing you eat in the morning, keep it at least at 12 hours. Okay, I always say that. Then you want to stimulate new connections. So how do you build new neuronal connections? Well, you can learn something new. You can learn a new language. You can learn a new skill, and that'll make your neurons fire more and with new connections that it hadn't before. Tetris, that little electronic game, has been shown to form new neuronal connections. So if you want to play 20, 30 minutes of that a day, that can help. Sudoku, is it Sudoku? I think that's how you pronounce it. That other game also helps. Chess, bridge, games that strategize and make you think a lot. That'll keep you your brain very active. So you want to keep your brain active as you're postmenopausal. And for example, standing on one foot while you're washing the dishes, or you're standing in line, it doesn't have to be much. You can just pick up your foot like an inch off the floor. Just that new stimulus to the brain of maintaining the balance not only works on your balance, your proprioception muscles, tiny muscles to keep your balance in your feet, but it also stimulates your brain. Walking backwards, doing anything like brushing your teeth with your left hand, doing anything that is different that makes your brain have to work for it, really stimulates new neuronal connections. So you want to be doing something every day that makes your brain stay on its toes. Don't always rely on electronics to memorize phone numbers. So try to memorize addresses and phone numbers on your own without the use of electronics. Have the electronics, have it as a backup, but try to memorize new things, because that keeps your brain firing new connections. And then the nutrients that are very important for your brain. So the essential fatty acids, that means the good fats, the ones that your body cannot produce. So you want to be ingesting the DHA and the EPA, which are those that come from cold water fish, or taking a supplement. It's probably a good time for you to start taking a supplement when you're postmenopausal. Having the olive oil a lot, having the nuts and the seeds, all those that come with the very good fats. You want to have your B vitamins nice and optimized in your body. You don't want them to be low. Your magnesium, your zinc. The zinc is very important for the brain. Your antioxidants, so all those beautiful colors of the rainbow from your veggies and your fruits, because it keeps your brain healthy and young. Oxidation is rust. It is what ages your brain. It kills your neurons. And then the soy products, obviously, because soy, the flax seeds, the chickpeas, all those that I talked about that have phytoestrogen, so estrogens that come from plants. They have a structure similar to our own estrogen, and they will have mimicking effects. And for postmenopausal women, they are very valuable. You want to be sleeping well. So sleeping is not a luxury. It is a necessity. It's during your sleep that your brain will clean out debris, clean out things that will give you Alzheimer's. So they have seen in scans that when people sleep, their brain will swell up with the cerebral spinal fluid. It'll go into the brain, swell it up, clean it out, and it's like it's taking the trash out at night. Okay. Okay, so if you're not sleeping, you're accumulating those plaques that form the amyloid beta plaque, the beta amyloid plaques that will give you Alzheimer's. So people that sleep less and don't sleep well have a tendency to have more dementia, not only just Alzheimer's, but dementia in general. Okay, and that is because it's not being cleaned out. And then finally, there's a supplement that has been shown to help with cognition and memory, which is ginkgo biloba. So that was the memory and cognition part. So let's talk about the vaginal dryness. So because the cells in the vagina will atrophy because of the lack of hormones, then it's just dry, right? It's not producing all the lubrication naturally that it would. So there are certain things that can help. One of them is Kegel exercises, and that will not only help with the lubrication, but it'll also help with your frequent urination problems and keeping everything nice and tight there, keeping your bladder in control as well. So Kegel exercises, I don't have time to teach you, but it's basically contracting like you're holding your pee and letting go in a certain rhythmic session. And you can throw it on Google, and there's YouTube videos teaching you how to do it. There's physical therapists that specialize in this pelvic area strengthening, and this is great for libido, for the vaginal dryness, and for the incontinence. So definitely do some Kegels, and you can do them while you're working, while you're driving, while you're washing your dishes, while you're watching TV. It's really, nobody knows. You just do it. You can use your lubricants, of course, locally, but be careful with these lubricants that you buy in the drugstore. Read the labels. You don't want to be putting parabens and fragrances and things that can irritate and even dry more. It'll lubricate right then, but then it'll backfire. So coconut oil is natural and it's got nothing, and it's great. So that, and there are other lubricants in the market, especially for postmenopausal women, but just be careful with the ingredients so that they don't have artificial stuff. You can use vaginal estrogen, and locally it will help over there. There is laser therapy, which will increase the collagen production and elastin production, so it makes it more supple, the mucous membranes there. And then there are some supplements that can help. Sea buckthorn oil, which is an oral supplement, can help. Red clover is an oral supplement. American ginseng can help. And then topically, you can put capsules of vitamin E mixed with cohosh, and there's a little recipe that I found from a book. 6 capsules of vitamin E oil plus 5 tablespoons of black cohosh. You would make a little paste, and you can apply inside and outside of the vagina, and it says it helps. So the next topic, and it's very related to the vaginal dryness, is the low libido. And the low libido can be from the vaginal dryness because it's hurting. You don't want to have sex when it's hurting, but it's also a lot related to stress, and it's related to the low estrogen. So you really have to find the cause. If it's a relationship problem, you have to talk about it. Talk about it to your doctor and talk about it with your partner. Because finding the cause, then we can treat the symptom. So if it's an estrogen thing, well, if you're going to have estrogen replacement therapy, that'll help. Maybe you can just do an estrogen locally. Maybe you can do just a phytoestrogen, meaning you would eat estrogens coming from plants in your diet, and maybe that'll help. If it's a relationship problem, then you have to work out the relationship problem. If it's a stress thing, nobody wants to have sex. Women don't want to have sex when they are stressed. So you have got to manage the stress. So with the libido, you really have to find the cause. It's a little bit more tricky. Then finally, UTIs. Some women have, after they go through menopause, for some reason, they get recurrent UTIs. And it's probably because the area there is drier. Everything that doesn't have enough lubrication, whether it's your eye, your mouth, whatever it is, it's more prone to being irritated. So for the UTI, we want to be sure to be obviously hydrating, but some things that will help a lot is cranberry juice or cranberry capsules. If you're taking the juice, you do want to be taking every day, a decent amount, like 6-8 ounces, but make sure that doesn't have sugar, because if you have a UTI, you don't want to be feeding that bacteria sugar. What else? Oh, I forgot to say that sugar depletes your brain from BDNF. So that fertilizer for your brain, sugar brings it down. So you want to cut down on the sugar for your cognition and for your UTI and for a dozen other reasons as well. D-mannose is another supplement that can help with the recurrent UTIs. It goes without saying that you have to be hydrated, obviously. After sex, you want to wash and pat dry. Never leave it humid. Never leave it, I mean, everybody knows this, but. And then one tip that is very important is after you pee, kind of rocking back and forth like this to make sure that you're emptying your bladder. Because if you leave a little bit of pee, because you're not emptying your bladder all the time correctly, you can get UTI from this held up pee. So really rocking back and forth after you pee helps you empty your bladders. When you have strong pelvic floor muscles, that really helps as well, because then you're able to pee everything that you have to pee out. What else? Cranberry juice, D-mannose, hydration. Last thing I want to talk about is hair loss. So the hair loss in menopause usually is because the testosterone is being converted into DHT. Okay, and DHT is dihydrotestosterone. And also it can be because of nutrient depletion. Remember I told you many women are coming into menopause depleted of energy, sleep, and nutrients. So if you don't have enough iron, if you don't have enough selenium, biotin, and zinc, your hair will not stick. And then another thing that makes the hair fall off is stress. So managing your stress, optimizing your nutrients through a very nutritious, nutrient-dense, real food diet, cutting down on that processed food that causes inflammation. Careful with the mechanical stress too. A lot of blow drying, a lot of styling, a lot of putting stuff on your hair. That can make it fall off. Even if your nutrients are okay, your stress is okay, your hormones are okay. So using the non-toxic hair products to, for your hair follicles to be not toxic. And then 2 essential oils that really help is rosemary and peppermint, and you can just mix them up and massage your hair every day in the morning or at night. You don't have to wash your hair. It doesn't leave it oily or anything. Then there are supplements that are excellent here in the US. Nutrafol, Fluorescein, and Norcrin. I think I'll make a post with the name so that you'll know. And then other things that help is black sesame seeds, because it's very rich in nutrients that you need, selenium, zinc, iron. So you can eat these, like a teaspoon of this a day, the black sesame seeds, and that'll help with the hair. But hair, again, you have to find your cause, right? Is it your stress? Is it because your testosterone is being turned into DHT, and then there's things that we can do about that? Or is it because you're nutrient depleted and you've got to measure it in your blood to know? So this is one of those things that you really have to find the cause and then act upon it. So we covered that. Next time we can cover insomnia and then HRT. Everybody wants to know about hormonal replacement therapy.